Welcome to Die Rollin. I'm the ever excitable Adam. You're joining me here on the floor as I hide behind this big box of Secrets of the Lost Tomb because I'm going to be playing Secrets of the Lost Tomb. Secret of the Lost Tomb, it is a game by Everything Epic Games and it's sat on my shelf in the background there for some time. Now, I played this a couple of times when I first got it, but bigger games came along, shinier games came along, and it just kind of sat there, and I didn't really have a group to play it. This was when I was playing, I think we started doing Pandemic Legacy, so we'd got a game we were playing each week, and then yeah, this just kind of like just started gathering dust. No fault of his own for the game itself, because this is a really fun dungeon crawler set with a kind of Indiana Jones pulp adventure theme. And I don't really know if there's much else like it. I know there's Arceus, which is now out there, which is like a kind of a dungeon crawl campaign game. What you get with just the base game of Secrets of the Lost Tomb is you're going to be going around into separate different like adventures. They don't connect. There are some like expansions you can get to the game where you can make them connect, I believe. You can also have like traitors in this game. There's loads of expansion that add a bunch of stuff to this game, but the game in itself is quite a lot going on in there. So just having the base game out is a lot. I did think, because I do have like a couple of expansions, I've never played this, I thought I'd bring you like the Myths and Legends expansion, which has got Nazis, which are always fun to go up against when you're doing like an Indiana Jones thing. You want to do Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's essentially it, right, guys? That's what you're hoping to do, or Last Crusade. But yeah, I've just brought you the very first scenario that's in here because I thought, it's been so long since I played this game that my idea of the kind of rule set, my grasp of the rule set isn't great. So there will be a ton of mistakes in this playthrough. And the main reason I wanted to bring this to you guys is because the Secret of the Lost Tomb is actually having a new version of this on GameFound fairly soon. And I've seen a few forums, people asking, oh, has anyone played Secret of the Lost Tomb? What's that like? Now, obviously, this game is going to be updated in the new version. They've got nicer kind of components in there. They've probably refined the rule set quite a lot. But this will give you an idea of a general idea of how the game plays, unless it's completely different in the new version, and then ignore this video. But if you are looking for a dungeon crawler with a pulp adventure theme, then watch this, see how I get on, spot out any mistakes I make, and yeah, leave any comments below your thoughts and feelings on this game, and also any mistakes I made, because it's good to remind myself. And you know what, guys, if you really enjoy this video and you'd like to see me try to do some more of the adventures in here, try to get some of the new expansion packs, I say new expansion packs, the expansion packs for this game out on the table for you to have a look at, maybe include some people from the community joining me in a game of this, then let me know in the comments below and we will definitely do that. Anyway, here's the game. So here's the team. We have Professor Forrestal, Bianca Sinclair, and Iron O'Sullivan. On the back of all these guys, they have a really interesting plot on them all, but I'm not going to read those out. So what have we got here? So with Professor Forrestal, he has the I'll think of something. As a free action, remove a special ability token to automatically succeed any knowledge or mythos check. It belongs in a museum. If you are to lose courage, you only take half rounded down if you're at least one relic. Now, starting items, we can choose two. We can get a rope token, fast draw revolver, map of the tomb's traps, or a pith helmet. I've gone for the fast draw revolver and a pith helmet. Now, he also comes with a kind of ally, and we've got Hey Reddit Barbarossa. +2 to all trap checks. You cannot be forced to discard this ally. And over here we have Bianca Sinclair, the cat burglar. You always pass agility checks. Trap master, +3 to all trap checks. Action, you can do an agility, dexterity, remove one trap trigger token from a room for each success. She has got a 45 caliber 1911 pistol. She has a grappling hook, and she comes with Mia Rosenberg. When you gain this ally, search the item deck and take bandages, which we have here. She gets double health restored gained from the rest action. And finally, we have Iron O'Sullivan. He has got Adrenaline Rush. As a free action, remove a special ability token to gain 5 combat this turn. You also do not lose courage from this creature. And Granny Chin. As a free action, remove a special ability token to cure 1 effect on you. Starts with a magnifying glass, and he also joined by Joseph Marks. You always ignore armor during combat checks, and you can re-roll 1 dexterity combat roll. So that's the team. Professor Forrestal is leading them into the Lost Tomb. But who are they facing? Well, let's find out. The Eternal Order of Perseus has just received word that an ancient prophecy is about to come to pass. An EOP team recently explored and photographed a burial chamber in southern Egypt, finding a collection of glyphs which tell the story of the great pharaoh Ras Az-Ahmed, ruling over Egypt and the entire Mediterranean for over 333 years. Ras Az-Ahmed enacted his warped desires, building his empire on the backs of slaves. Sickened by his deranged ways, the great pharaoh's own advisors used the power of the gods to finally put him to rest. Because of Ra's unearthly powers, he could not be killed, so the advisors knew they had to bind him forever with the 3 potent talismans, and so they did, or so they believed. The spell Ras Az-Ahmed has been held under for thousands of years is now about to wear off. The glyphs tell of where and when he will be resurrected. The place is in the tomb on Island X, and the time is only 2 days from now. Your team will travel by seaplane southeast towards the Caribbean and to the tomb. Your first known objective is to find the Staff of Ra, one of the potent talismans. Without these talismans, it will be near impossible to prevent Ras Az-Ahmed from escaping the tomb and imposing his power and influence over the world. And great power he has. So we got 6 rounds to find artifacts, bolster our defenses, and prepare for the oncoming of Ras Azul. We must be vigilant. When Ras Al-Azamet awakens, he will try to escape the tomb and take over the world. Every creature in the tomb will be an obstacle, blocking us from Raz as he escapes. He will stop to kill one of us, but then he will move as quickly as possible along the shortest route out of the tomb. The moment Raz leaves, we will have failed. So we have got Professor Forrestal, Bianca Sinclair, and Ian O'Sullivan. These 3 intrepid adventurers are going to try to stop Raz Azalmet from coming back to life. I say his name differently every time I play this, so yeah, there we go. Okay, so we've got a big stack of tiles over here, which I'm going to just be drawing from, in no particular order, guys. So, Professor Forrestal, I kind of feel like he's leading this expedition into here, and he's brought in the backup of the private investigator, Ian O'Sullivan, the cat burger, Bianca Sinclair, a bit of a femme fatale kind of character. But yeah, I feel like he's just going to go straight ahead. Don't worry, I'll find out what's going on in here. We're going to move into this space here, and we draw our top thing, and we found El Dorado. Many people have searched for this, but few have found it. Professor Forrestal, on his very first go, has found the City of Gold, as it were. Right, and we got a little story symbol up here, which means we draw the top card from the adventure deck. At least I think it's the top card. I just draw from the top, and the adventure deck kind of looks like that. We've got this this kind of divider on the top, so we can't actually read what's on there. But I'll give it a quick shuffle, so you know I'm not just not faking it. And you've got like an adventure on one side and a misadventure on the other side. But this is a adventure, so our very first adventure is this one. As you enter, you're hit by a brick wall of humidity. You can barely breathe. Looking over the space, you find 3 oversized flower buds hanging from thick green stems. Then they suddenly move and turn toward you. So we now have to do a knowledge check. Now, luckily for us, Professor Forrestal has 3 knowledge, and he also has a pith helmet. He's taken the pith. It gives a +1 to all story checks. So does that mean we get additional dice? I think it just gives me an additional dice for this, so that's what we're going to do. I don't think it gives me a +1 to the rolls, and I need 5s and 6s to actually succeed. So we've got knowledge of 3, so we're going to have 3 dice to begin with, followed by an additional dice for the +1 we get for the pith helmet. And we need 5s and 6s, guys. Okay, so we got a fail there. We got a 6, a 6, and a 4. And this only called for, just says the 1 book with no number next to it, so we succeed. So we read this bit here and we ignore the bit at the bottom. Luckily, you recall your botany. These are carnivorous Ashton Smith orchids. In record speed, you find the root source, and with a pocket knife, you sever it quickly. Killing the plant, the sap is good for longevity. You drink it. +1 strength. Yikes. So that's fantastic, because that gives us an additional bonus to our strength. His strength is only 1, so Professor Forrestal has straight away got an additional +1 to his strength. He's now on +2 strength. So yeah, that's that. I mean, that's a pretty good start. So that's our first action done. We then go to Bianca Sinclair. She is next. Her movement's 5, so we're going to move a couple of spaces. We're going to get her to go 1 there, and then she's going to try and move into this space down here. I say try, she definitely will move into there. And we found the Jade Temple. Well, it's all looking very nice so far. And we have a story symbol there, so let's see what adventure we have for Bianca Sinclair. Ribbit, ribbit, you hear the sound of tons of frogs in this moldy smelling room. You can't see them, so you check around the drainage pipe where you find hundreds. You have to do a dexterity check. So she has a dexterity of 4. Let's see how we get on with this. Okay, so we got a success there and a success there. So 2 successes, so that's great. Okay, so you stay ready for anything as you watch the frogs hop around. Right on the ledge under the grate, you spot something shiny. You quickly lift the grate, grab the object, and slam it down before the frog swarm can get you. +1 treasure. So let's take a look at what. So we got a huge list of huge amount of treasure we can get here. So shuffle this deck up. And we find a Lewis machine gun. Dexterity two-handed. +7 if used twice in 1 round, discard this card. Roll a die on a 1 discard. So she's very tooled up at the moment. And I'm not sure if there is a limit to the amount of items you can have in this. So you can carry as much as you like in this game, which is fantastic news for us all. So yeah, so that's the end of her first action. So we now go over to Ina Sullivan, who was our private investigator / boxer. And it kind of makes sense. It would be rude if he didn't just go this way. So 1, 2, and his last movement is going to be into this space here. And we find Illuminati Gallery. And we've got a little symbol down there. You get +1 mythos. And at the very top, we have a little symbol here. So we've actually found the very first room that we have to kind of, scenario, the very first scenario trigger. Now I did miss down here, we should have done this straight away. Draw top 2 items and discard 1. So in fact, our man Professor Forrestal, he actually found this gun. He also found a battle axe, and he gets to discard 1 of those. He's going to keep the machine gun, so he's got that. And I'm sorry, Bianca would have found some bandages, so she's actually doubled up on bandages here. We have our exploration effect here, which is +1 mythos. So by just going into this the Illuminati Gallery, Ian has actually managed to increase his mythos. So he knows more about the forbidden world that lives between the seams of our reality. And I'll give him a +1 to his mythos for that, which is, it's just pretty good. His mythos is now 2. But we do have this little scenario effect, and scenario effect happens right before the story effect. But we don't have a story effect, we just have a scenario effect. And what is the scenario effect, Adam? Stop saying scenario effect. The curse of the mummy. All around the room there are engravings, hieroglyphics, and ancient relics from the age of Egyptian empires. They mention Ras Azul Ahmed many times. As you search these histories for clues, you wake something from its deep slumber. Its disembodied blue eyes flash in the darkness, and loud maniacal laughter echoes in the depths of your mind, mesmerizing you for a moment. You try to resist, you attempt to resist the curse. So we have to do a mythos roll, which was pretty lucky because he only had 1 dice. And now we've got 2 because we've upgraded our mythos, which is fantastic. So before we actually roll this, we're going to use his audacity. He's got 3 audacity, we've moved it down to 2, and he's going to use this to basically count 4s, 5s, and 6s as successes rather than just 5s and 6s. So wish me luck. Okay, we got a critical fail there and a 2. Ugh. So we're going to spend another audacity to re-roll those dice. And we've done it, a 6 and a 5. So we have resisted the curse. Well, that worked out pretty well for a first go. Right, so it's on to Professor Forrestal. So he's going to carry on. Well, do you know what? Let's do a search in here. So they all have a little search triangle that starts off on green, and you rotate it this way after you roll a dice, you see what's on the chart, then rotate it once. So let's see what we get on here. So it's a 1. So unfortunately, that is going to be a misadventure. So Professor Forrestal, what's he discovered? Unearthly pieces of strange machines and high-tech flying devices are strewn about here. Investigate further and discover that these are parts of an alien spaceship. So we're going to do a knowledge roll. We've got 3 to this. 3 base knowledge and a +1 because we do have our pith helmet. Sorry, that wasn't one of the dice I rolled, but we definitely got a success there. So let's see. So searching the rubble, you find a power source which speaks to you. Turn me on. You try to resist with all of your will. So we've got a mythos. This is still a story thing. So our mythos is 3. We get an additional dice because of our pith helmet. I'll remove these dice. And yeah, we've got some successes there. 2 6s there, a 4 and a 5. So that's enough. We only need 1 success there. Pass, you resist its pull. Okay, so that worked out well for us. Nothing to gain from that, but nothing to lose either. So that's our second action with Professor Forrestal. We move on to Bianca Sinclair now, who, although there are doors either side, she can't actually go any further. So should we get her to search? I think we should get her to search. So, because she's only got bandages and a pistol, so let's give her a search there. She got a 4. So a 4 on this is actually she finds an item. And she's found a Lugar pistol. One-handed dexterity, it's +2 to the combat there, ignores armor, and you got to roll a die on a 1, discard it when you're upkeeping it. So she's now got 2 pistols. She's basically Lara Croft at this point. Okay, moving on to Iron O'Sullivan. He's only got a magnifying glass. So do you know what he's going to search as well? And he got a 3 there. Now we could re-roll that if we wanted to. He will get an adventure for doing this. I think we're going to re-roll it. And that's his magnifying glass that lets us do this. And we got a fail, so that was probably the worst idea there. So what's his misadventure? In the center of this room, you'll find a fire pit from which protrudes a gothic set of red-hot iron pokers. Who could have started this fire here in the tomb? Now we're doing a knowledge roll. Luckily, he's a private investigator, so he has 3 knowledge. And we got a 5, a 6, and a 2, so at least one of those is a success. There may be others here, other humans that do not want outsiders invading their home. So we've got to do a dexterity roll now. So we only have 2 dice for this. And we got 2 successes there. Pass, you duck just in time, avoiding a dart. Okay, so we're going to get Professor Forrestal. He's going to carry on his search. So he's going to... I feel like they're split up, and that's fine. So, he's found a trap. So we do an exploration effect. We don't have one of those. We have a trap effect, so that's what we're on. So we're on this trap. Now this is an unlimited trap because there's a little kind of infinity symbol over here. So basically, some traps you would have, a limited amount of times they could actually trigger the trap, because once you trigger that trap, it's not going to trigger again. But unfortunately, this one is, it's not great because it's a big pit, which will lead us down to the very bottom of the tomb itself, the Mongol's Hall. And we need to try and find a rope to get our way out of there. But luckily, we do have a grappling hook with Bianca Sinclair. We have to do our trap test now. All we have to do is in his agility, and if we fail, we get -3. His dexterity, not agility. Dexterity is 2. However, he is joined by Hayredit Barbarossa, and he gets a +2 to all trap checks. So an additional 2 dice. We just have to succeed once, or he's going to take a bit of a fall. And we've succeeded over here. So, yep, he's fine. We avoided that. But every time we go in this room, we are going to have to trigger that trap again. So it's not fantastic, if I'm honest. Okay, we're on to our third action with Bianca Sinclair now. And Bianca is also going to move down this way. And we found a level 2 card. We can't use that at the moment. So the next one is a level 1 tile. Flip it over. Oh, and we found the next part. So it's a Grand High Masonic Lodge in this temple here. So she's moved in there. Nice thing is she can connect up to Professor Forrestal here. But we have triggered this thing here. The first potent talisman, the Staff of Ra. In the center of this room is a strange platform, and on it sit 3 huge sarcophagi shaped in the likeness of the great Sun King Ra. On the centermost sarcophagus, Ra's hands are crossed over his chest, holding the legendary Staff of Ra. This is what you've been searching for. What luck! Pulling with all your might, you yank the staff from the once pristine coffin. As soon as you remove it, the lids of the coffins float up into the air, releasing plumes of horrid fumes, and then smash the floor. Out of the coffins emerge 3 huge reanimated mummies. This can't be happening. The legends are true. So we have to place 3 keepers of the tomb in this room. When we defeat all 3, we gain the Staff of Ra. We're going to get Sullivan to move into this space down here because he's got a movement of 3. So we can't quite get him to where he needs to get to help out right now. And he finds the Arc Portal. And for an action, you move your character to any explored room in the tomb. So that's actually pretty handy because he can just teleport next door. But first he goes in there and we have to do there's a little story icon down here. So we have to do a story. So our adventure this time. 10 steps into the room, you hear something moving somewhere. You can't see it, but it's making enough noise to stop you in your tracks. So we're doing a knowledge check. He's got a knowledge of 3. And we got a 6, so we're fine. You remember the survival skills you learned on safari in Africa. You roar at the top of your lungs and the creature flees. +3. So he's now on 4 courage, which means he gets a +1 to his story checks now, which comes in very helpful. Right, we're on to Professor Forrestal. Now, I don't believe that I can shoot him from this room here, so I believe Professor Forrestal is going to have to come in. So he's going to march into there for his last action. Right, Bianca Sinclair, we're going to start combat. So she has got 2 pistols and she's going to shoot with both of those. So we've got 5 hit points each, so this is pretty good. Let's take a look then. So first of all, we've got to build her dice pool. And how this works is we look at her dexterity. Her dexterity is 4. So we've got 4 dice to begin with. And then we have a +3 for her pistol there. A little symbol at the top there. And then we get a +1 because there's another another adventurer in the same room as us. So we actually outnumber the enemy. So 8 dice. She's going to use an audacity, which means she needs 4 5s or 6s to actually strike a hit. Okay, so let's get rid of the misses. So we had a critical fail there. 3 hits, 4 hits, and a critical hit. But before we did that, I should have lost courage because, yeah, these guys, it takes 2 courage away from us to actually fight one of these guys. Because, you know, it's scary. And first we have to see if we take damage. We add our successes, 5s and critical successes, to get our base defense, which is currently 5. She doesn't have any armor to help her. The creature's combat rating is 3, so yeah, our 5 beats its 3, so we don't have to worry about that critical failure, because if we had actually taken damage from that, we would have got slowed. But yes, we don't worry about that now. Now we look at that armor. The armor is 0. So we don't have to worry about separating our critical successes and our regular successes. Critical successes, which is a 6, basically means you get through combat. So you get through armor. But there's no armor to worry about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've killed this keeper of the tomb. We get 3 soul shards.
for our trouble there. Now the soul shards are pretty handy because you can basically use those to deal with the soulmonger. And our caliber pistol we're going to put to the one side like that, so we know that we've used it this round. And when we come to the upkeep phase, we are going to have to see if it's still there. Right, our last guy is Ian O'Sullivan. So Mr. Sullivan, he's going to teleport to our room right here as his action. And that is all of the actions for our heroes for this round. So that's the very first adventure round, and hopefully I'll speed up as we go through this. So we now go to the tomb phase. So first thing we do is we have a bunch of tomb cards here. Let's shuffle these up. We draw the very top tomb card. This tells us what happens. So tomb effect, in the dark, a scream is heard, then nothing at all. So everyone has to test their mythos. If you fail, you get -2 courage. So starting with Professor Forrestal, he has a 3. And he failed all of those. So you know what? He can -2 courage. That's fine. He's on -1 courage now. That's not too bad. Now Bianca Sinclair has 1 mythos, so she's going to use 1 audacity. And she got a critical fail. So that didn't really do anything. She's going to use her last audacity to re-roll that. And this time she got a 5, so she doesn't have to worry about getting spooked out there. And then finally we have Ian O'Sullivan. He's got 2 of these. And he failed on those. He can do with 2 courage. Now courage is important, and also making sure you play the turns out in the right order is important too. So I did something slightly wrong. When we killed the Keeper of the Tomb, she got the reward of 3 soul shards, but both Professor Forrestal and Ian O'Sullivan in the same room, they also get 1 soul shard. And they also get to regain courage equal to half the dead creature's courage attack, rounded up. So everyone is +1 to their courage right now. So some people lost 2, and then they gain back 1 from killing that monster. Okay, so at this point we now move the creatures, but we don't need to because they're literally in the same room. So now we're going to have creature combat. So we're going to have this kind of keeper guy is going to attack Bianca, and this one's going to go for Forrestal. So we'll go for Bianca first. Now she's already faced. I'm not quite sure whether Bianca takes additional courage damage from this creature here. It's the same creature that she's fought before, but it's a different actual one. We're going to instead get her to do an evade. And she always passes her evade check. So we get to move her into this room back here. So that combat ended. This guy didn't attack anyone. It's now on to the Professor versus the Keeper of the Tomb over here. Now the Professor gets -2 courage because the first time he's faced one of these creatures. He is going to be equipped with his Lewis machine gun. So we have 7 dice we're rolling here. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a ton of dice for this game. I only have I should have 12 dice, but I don't know where they all are. So we're gonna have to re-roll some dice, I guess. Okay, so we're gonna do. His dexterity is 2, so we'd be rolling 9 dice, 10, 11. It's 10 dice in total actually. So we get 2 dice for his initial dexterity. We get 7 dice for his weapon, and we get an additional dice because he's worth it. Because O'Sullivan's in the same room as him, so he has 10 dice to roll. So we're going to roll these 7 dice and see what we get. So we got 1 success, 1 critical failure. And then he's got an additional 3 dice to roll. Wouldn't you know it? We got a crit. So we got 3 crits in total and 1 regular hit. So that is enough to block out damage from the 3 that we're getting in from there. And then I cause damage to it. So next we would be spawning, but we don't actually have any red spaces on the board for us to spawn. So we ignore that. We're in the upkeep phase now. So let's see, the Lewis machine gun, do we discard it? We do not. And the 1911 pistol, we do not. All our search tokens get put back to green, and the comet track moves forward 1 space and goes on to Bianca Sinclair, who's going to be the first to activate this round. We also refresh all of our little bullets, which are off camera at the moment, but these things basically help you keep track of your actions. They've each got 1 bullet each, sorry, 4 bullets each, and they get to do 1 action each in turn, as you've seen. Okay, so Bianca is going to spend her first action to search. Why not? We got a 4, and she's on green at the moment, so that is an item. She's found Winchester rifle. If successes are greater than or equal to the creature's damage combat, you may immediately perform 1 additional combat against the same creature. Ability triggers only once per combat. Nice. She got all the weapons. Right, O'Sullivan is going to try and fight. He doesn't have a weapon. Yikes. Can we trade? Okay, so he's going to try and evade. Their dexterity was 1. His dexterity is 2. He's going to try and come into the J Temple to get some weapons. So yeah, he definitely got past that. So he moves into this room over here. Oh no, we have to evade the other creature as well. So let's see, he evaded this one. Can he evade that guy? Failure, but he got an evade there. So yes, that's enough. So he goes through there. He's safe in there. It's up to Professor Forrestal. He's going to use his fast draw revolver. So he's rolling just 4 dice this time. We're not going to use the fast draw revolver. We're going to use the machine gun. So we've got 9 dice this time, guys. Here's 8 dice, and I'll re-roll 1, and add 1 additional dice. Okay, so 3 regular hits and 2 critical hits. We can ignore this. 5 damage. It's kind of a bit of an overkill, but yeah, he's taken out that guy. He gets 3 shards for his for killing it. And he also recovers 1 courage for killing that beast. Okay, on to Bianca Sinclair. She is going to trade the Winchester rifle over to Iron O'Sullivan. Iron O'Sullivan is now going to move back into this room here with the Good Doctor. Good Doctor is then going to Professor Forrestal, I should say. He's then going to spend another action to use his fast draw revolver this time. So he's only rolling 2 dice for his dexterity. Sorry, he should be rolling 3 because he's got a +1 on this fast draw revolver. So it's 3 for his dexterity, 2 for the pistol, and 1 because he's got backup in the same room as him. I think I did backup wrong previously because they didn't actually outnumber the people in there. So yeah, ignore. I'll try and correct that going forward. So that was a pretty crappy roll for Professor Forrestal there. So we're going to use one of his audacity to re-roll all of those. Did we get any better? So we got 2 and that. Unfortunately, that means he does take damage, and he should have lost 2 courage for facing this new beast. So he takes 1 damage, and he also gets the slowed condition because of what is listed up there. So he got -2 movement and -2 dexterity. But if he rests, he can try to get rid of this card. So he has a slowed status on him. -2 movement to a minimum of 1, and he's got a -2 to his dexterity. And if he rests, he can roll a die on a 5 or a 6, he can discard, but he can't re-roll that dice. And we do 2 damage to the creature. Okay, we're going to, you know what, we're just going to move her into the same room as those guys because she will help with combat by just being in the same room as them. So we go to Iron Sullivan. He gets rid of 2 courage to face this creature. He's using his Winchester rifle. So his dexterity is 2. He gets 4 more dice because he's got a +4 for the Winchester rifle. And he gets additional 2 because we outnumber him by 2. All right, well, do you know what? That's fine. So 3 is 3 defense to block out that 3 damage coming through. And then we do 3 damage to it, killing it, netting us 3 shards for Sullivan, 1 shard each for the other guys. Everyone gets to heal 1 courage, or recover 1 courage, should I say. As this thing, they're not that bad. We have managed to kill these things. And he gains the Staff of Ra for doing that. So it's Mythos 2-handed. Could probably give that over to the Professor instead. +5 damage, +10 versus undead and horror creatures. If you expend it, when you have used this card 3 times, you discard it. So we'll give that to the Professor. Being the Professor, it's now his turn. So I think we should probably carry on our, carry on this away. So let's see what we pull out here. Leif Erikson's Grotto, and we have another one of these. So he's got a -1 to his move, but his movement is currently 4, so he's got a 2 there. So he then gets +1 to his movement for finding this place. Kind of combats a little bit of the stuff that's going on, but he's triggered the second potent talisman, the Ruby Scarab. You feel an intense power here. It must be the next potent talisman. After searching for a while, you notice a dull red glow emanating from a gem embedded in a huge statue of Khepri, god of scarabs. It's the Ruby Scarab. As you pry it from the statue, the stone... Oh, do you know what? Sorry, I don't I don't trigger that. Ignore me. I need to find one which has got 2 symbols on. So he's moved in there. He's just gained 1 movement from coming into that room. Okay, so Bianca's going to come down there, and then she's going to... Do you know, actually... Yeah, we'll go this way. We're going to move that way, and then we're going to move this away over here. Oh, and we found the Atrium of the Elder Sign, and that does have the symbol I was looking for. And this contains the Seal of Solomon search. Do you search for the Seal of Solomon? I don't know. Creatures may not move through this room. It excludes bosses. But we have this. So let me read out the second potent talisman. You feel an intense power here. It must be the next potent talisman. After searching for a while, you notice a dull red glow emanating from a gem embedded in a huge statue of Khepri, god of scarabs. It's a Ruby Scarab. As you pry from the statue, the stone springs to life and swarms of scarabs burst from the hole previously covered by the gem. So we've got 2 carnivorous scarabs coming into there. They may not look like much, but these guys come in a swarm of 6 each. Okay, so let's get on to Sully. And then obviously the Professor is going to limp into here to try and help out. Now, this carnivorous scarab, this swarm is going to attack the Professor because he's got the most soul shards. And then the next one, it's a tie between the 2 of them. But they're going to go out against... Let's go against Sully, why not? So, carnivorous scarabs. Let's build our pool for the good Professor. So, his dexterity is currently -2. So, he doesn't get anything for having dexterity. He does have a +1 to dexterity because of the fast draw revolver. He's got a +2 because of the fast draw revolver. And we outnumber the enemies by 1. Now, I think that works on swarm enemies. I don't know. So we've got 4 dice we're rolling. This will be his initial defense and attack. So all of them are fails. So we're going to use Audacity to re-roll those. And we're going to use Audacity to re-roll those because once again, terrible roll. Okay, so we got 1, so we block 1, and then we do 1 damage, which unfortunately is soaked up by the armor. And actually we have armor, so we only take 4 damage. But yeah, unfortunately we don't do any. Oh, it was a critical hit. Critical hit, so it ignores the armor, does 1 damage to one of these guys. Yikes. Okay, Sully, we would have also taken -2 to our courage for facing the scarabs. So we're at -1 search skills with our slowed professor now. Sully is going to use one of his special abilities, Adrenaline Rush. As a free action, he can gain 5 combat this round. He takes 2 courage for facing these new monsters. He's got 2 dexterity. He's got 5 for the special ability he's just done, plus an additional 1 for them outnumbering these guys by 1. So we're going to roll all those, and we've got a +4 on top of that because of the Winchester rifle. So let's take a look. And there's 1 over here as well, which is just a regular hit. Well, a miss. We got 4 more dice to roll because of the Winchester rifle, so wish me luck. Okay, so I got a critical hit, and 2 misses. Okay, so their swarm damage for this swarm is currently 6. And we blocked out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we take 1 damage. Now, because we have Joseph Marks in our party over here as an ally, we always ignore armor. So, they got 2 hit points each. And Winchester rifle, if successes are greater than or equal to creature's damage, you may immediately perform 1 additional combat against the same creature. This ability triggers only once per combat. So I'll do this, but first of all, I'll resolve this first one. So 1, 2, that's enough to kill 1 of them. 3, 4, so we killed 2 of these. And there is a damage on 1 more of them. And then we'll do the ability of the Winchester rifle for another combat attack, which is 2 dexterity plus 1 for having 1 additional guy in this fight, plus the 4 from the Winchester rifle. And I don't think we get the Adrenaline Rush again. So we got a 5 there, everything else is a miss. We're going to do our ability here, reroll 1 combat roll. Okay, so what we got here? So 1, 2, 3, 2 fails. Their combat is currently 4, so they do 1 damage to me. Then I do 3 damage to it, so I kill 2 more of these guys. The outnumbering bonus doesn't work against these guys, so I did play that incorrectly. So apologies for that, guys. Now, I actually started the tomb phase, but I hadn't actually drawn out a tomb card. I should have brought this out first. So tomb effect, misguided and treacherous thoughts. Tomb effect, a promise of more. All doing knowledge. If we fail, we're going to lose an item. So that kind of sucks. That could have really helped to affected us in the combat that I've just performed. But yeah, here we go. So knowledge check starting with the prof. So he got success, so he's fine. Knowledge for Bianca. She's only got 2. She failed that. She's got no way of re-rolling that, so she fails. And we're going to get rid of 1 of her bandages. And then finally, we have the knowledge of Sully. And he also fails, so he's going to get rid of his magnifying glass. We're not spawning anything again because we don't have any red rooms. And the comment track goes forward 1. So guys, we need to do our upkeep before we do that, of course, which I forgot to do. Right, so we've got to check. Do we keep all of our weapons? So we're rolling for the fast draw revolver. Roll a die, 1, 2, or 3. We discard this. Is a 5, so we don't. And then the lovely Lewis machine gun. It's a 2, so we are safe for that. Everyone has their actions back, and we are going to begin proper with the Winchester rifle and good old Sully. So he's going to spend one of his, no, he's not going to do an adrenaline rush. He's just going to fight these things. So we've got our Winchester rifle, which gives us 4. We've got our +2 because we have a dexterity of 2, but we don't get any additional bonuses because of the additional people in the room. So let's see if Sully can take out these last carnivorous scarabs. Okay, so that was a terrible roll. He's going to use his last audacity to reroll all those. And I don't know if you get audacity back at all, or if that's just it for your entire adventure. So we got 1 hit on one of those. So he's taking 1 damage from that because there's only 2 people left. He does 1 damage to one of these scarabs. On to the Professor. So the Professor, he is going to attack with a Lewis machine gun. So he's got a dexterity of 0 at the moment. Oh, +1 because he's got a faster revolver. So rolling 8 dice in total. And there's currently 6 of those attacking him. Right, we got a fail, we got a fail, we got a 5, we got a 5, we got a fail, we got a 5. Okay, so what that means is we're going to be taking 2 damage because he's got armor. He then does 3 damage to, well, actually, let's take a look. So they've got armor of 1, so one of these is soaked up by armor. One of them goes through, he kills one of these guys. And then the other one is soaked up by armor. Okay, so Bianca, she gets -2 because she's fighting one of these things for the first time. She's using her caliber pistol. So she's got a dexterity of 4. We're rolling 7. Actually, we're going to use her Luger pistol. We get 1 less dice, but we get to ignore all the armor. 6 dice, hopefully getting high. Wow, that was probably the worst roll ever recorded by anyone ever. So 4 critical failures and 1 actual damage. So she hasn't got any audacity to do that. She takes 1 damage from the swarm, but she causes 1 damage to the swarm, killing one of these. So back to Sully. He's going to use his 6 dice. Two crits, and that their attack value is currently 1, so he doesn't have to worry about any of that, and he does enough damage to kill this creature. On to the Professor. He's going to use the Staff of Ra. Why not? So it's a knowledge-based thing. He gets a +5. He's got 8 dice in total for this. Just because there's so many of these, there's 5 of them now. He can do a lot of damage, this guy. So we get 1 success, 2 success, 3 successes there. Yeah, 3 successes. He only takes 1 damage from that. He then he kills one of these guys. We're going to use the Luger pistol, which ignores armor. Oh, and those guys are gone. So we got 2 hits there. They've got 4 coming through, so she takes 2 damage, and then she kills one of these creatures. On to our man Sully. He's going to rage at them. So he's got 5 dice for his rage. He's got his 2 dexterity, and then we're going to roll another 4 dice for his Winchester. Remember, all these go through armor. Two successes, 3, 4 successes, and then we have another 4 dice to roll. the actual Winchester itself. So yeah, so that's going to kill the last 3 of them off. So they all gain 2 courage back, and they all gain 1 shard, 2 shards each. Now, the shards themselves, you can work with the Soulmonger to get your courage back up to the starting lot, amongst other things. Okay, and we have just defeated those creatures, so we get our second talisman, the Ruby Scarab. So it's +2 Mythos, and upkeep you get +2 Audacity. Man alive, that's fantastic. So we're going to give the Ruby Scarab over to Sully at the moment. So Iron O'Sullivan's got that. I feel like he deserved that for the amount of scarabs he absolutely caked that round. So that's gone. Okay, so we're looking for our final portent now. The Professor is going to rest on his turn. He can heal 2 health, so he's going to do that. Bianca Sinclair is going to do the same thing. Iron Sullivan is also going to do that. And then we'll have another rest with our good man, the Professor, with Bianca as well. She's going to do 1 rest, and she can't get her courage up any further than it currently is. So yeah, that's the end of the player's turn for this round. So let's see what our next tomb phase looks like. Blood on the Earth. Tomb effect. All -2 to combat checks this tomb phase. Move creatures, creature combat, spawn creatures, upkeep. So we've got to check whether we get rid of the Lewis machine gun. So 4, so we're fine. We have to check if we get rid of the Luger, which we do. We've lost the Luger. And then the Winchester. Winchester was a 6. We needed a 1 or a 2 to lose it, so that is fine. And I did rest, so I should roll to see if I can get rid of this. I did 2 rests with the Professor, so let's see if I manage to get rid of that. The first roll was a 6, so yes, we got rid of the slowed condition. So we're all back into fighting form. And it's back to the Professor to lead off. So we're going to start heading this way now. And we found the Mayan calendar. Well, this is working out very handy for me because that is the next thing we need to do to find them. They're literally like all kind of connected up here. So the third potent talisman, the Cowl of Anubis. You find yourself deep within the tomb in a place filled with a strange energy. The air vibrates with unheard sound as if the spirits of the dead are calling from beyond. 2 huge intimidating sphinx statues flank an even darker statue of Anubis, the god of death, forever watching over the golden sarcophagi here. You quickly translate the hieroglyphics on the wall. The crown of the great Anubis, keeper of the dead, lies forever entombed within his coffin. Finally, you found the last potent talisman needed to help defeat Raz Azul. Right as you begin to stir the graveside, the 2 sphinx statues come to life and defend the grave. Place 2 sphinx elite creatures in this room. Once both are defeated, any adventurer in this room can spend an action token to try to open the sarcophagus of Anubis. We place a quest marker on this room. Okay, so let's take a look at our sphinx. So yeah, you can get stumped and hexed by these guys. Movement of 4, they've got, when you fight them, they take away 3 courage. They've got 5 attack, combat rating, 3 defense armor, 6 health, 1 escape challenge, and 3 little lovely little bits. You can get 3 soul shards. Okay, Bianca Sinclair is going to search in the room she is in because that's the kind of person she is. And she got a 4. So we know that is an item. She's found a sledgehammer. Unfortunately, none of my guys are very good with strength apart from Sully. So maybe she needs to hand that over to Sullivan. So that was her action, was searching. Sullivan is now going to spend an action to take the sledgehammer from her and yeah, give her the Winchester rifle, I think. Okay, so our second action for the Professor. I kind of feel like he could give him a whack. We can go for a whack with this. Yeah, let's go for the Lewis machine gun. +7 dice. He's going to try and machine gun these guys to death. So we've got 7 from that. We've got 3 for our dexterity, and that is our whole kit and caboodle. We're going to spend our last audacity here to give us successes on 4, 5s, and 6s for this. Okay, so we got a 5 there. 2 4s. 1 fail, 1 5. Now we haven't quite got over their combat rating yet. So that was just for our machine gun. We then have our 3 dexterity to go. Nice, we've done it. Okay, so we've got over their initial combat. Their combat is 5, and we've actually got 6 hits on that guy. We then get our critical hit to one side. That's going to do damage. 1, 2, 3 are soaked up by the armor. So we do 3 damage to this guy, which, you know what, isn't too bad. He's halfway there. I did, however, forget to do the courage. 1, 2, 3. Courage kind of value there. So he has taken some courage damage. Bianca Sinclair's now going to move into that room because that's how cool she is. Sully's going to move in as well. Sort of the 3 amigos are in there ready to take them out. We're going to use the Staff of Ra. And one more use of this thing after this. So we've got 8 dice plus an additional dice because we outnumber them by 1. Okay, this was not a good idea. Fail, fail. 2 critical successes, 3 critical successes, 1 additional dice, which is a critical success. So we take 1 damage from them, but we also do get hexed and stumped. So what that basically means is we're going to be failing all of our mythos checks and all of our knowledge checks just going forward until we get rid of those. We can rest and get rid of those. Well, in the upkeep phase, we can get rid of them. So we actually only take 1 damage, but our armor actually prevents that damage, which means we don't get those because we didn't actually take any damage. Well, I've got those cards to hand in case we do take damage. Right, so we got 4 critical hits on this, which basically means that's 4 damage going through. We ignore armor completely for this. So yeah, we kill 1. I think that was a good use of the Staff of Ra. Okay, it's on to Bianca Sinclair. She takes 3 courage damage, but not before recovering her courage. Well, recovering 2 courage actually from that thing dying. Then she takes 3 courage damage, and then she's going to shoot with the Winchester rifle. So she has got 8 dice rolling for this, plus an additional 1 because we outnumber them. Okay, so that one's squiff. I'm going to re-roll that one again. So that's a fail, fail, fail. That's a hit. That's a hit. Fail, fail, fail. Critical success. So we take 2 damage from them, and she is now hexed and stumped. But she has done 1 critical hit, so that goes through, and the other 2 are soaked up by the Sphinx's armor. We're on to Sully. He's got his sledgehammer this time around, so he's rolling 5 dice for this. So we'll roll that initial 1 there. So 4s count. So 1 hit, 2 fails, a success there. He has then got 4 in strength. So success, 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 and then 1 because, well, actually 2 because we outnumber them. So that was a fail, and that was a critical success. So we don't have to worry about taking any damage, but we do take obviously the courage modifier there, so we take -3 to our courage. However, we don't take any damage. All of our damage goes straight through. We ignore armor when we're doing stuff, so we've killed this guy. That's 3 gems for Sully, 1 gem for everyone else. All recover courage. I believe it's rounded up. And yeah, if we go back onto Professor. So the Professor is going to spend an action to try and do a mythos check to try to open the sarcophagi. And I shouldn't place a pass thing on here because we've got to do this 3 times. So we failed on our check, so we couldn't do that. But as a free action, remove a special ability token to automatically assess any mythos check. So we're going to do that to place 1 on there. So we've got to get 3 on here. Now we know there's no point in Bianca doing anything because she fails all of her checks at the moment. So she's going to do a search. And she got a 6, and she's on amber, so she gets an item. And she found a pickaxe. Okay, and then we'll go for Sully as our last action this round. He's going to do a mythos check. He has got a mythos of 4. Yeah, we got a success there. So we have another quest item on here. And that's the end of the round. So we go on to the next tomb phase. All -1 to checks this tomb phase. We don't have to worry about that. Comment check, upkeep, we got to do that. And then search, move around 1. And then the comment track. So, upkeep. Lewis machine gun. Still with us. And then we have hexed. On a 6, she gets rid of it. And it's a fail. And stumped. 4. So she's still stumped, still hexed. Now the blue-eyed pharaoh actually wakes up on round 6. So we're actually ahead of the game here at the moment. I think at this point, she's going to give the bandages over to Professor Forrestal. That's her first action. Sully is going to try and do a mythos check. And we've done it. So we've placed 3 on here. We can take the Cowl of Anubis. +2 defense. When you take damage, reduce that damage by 1 to a minimum of 1. And he's going to take that because he's feeling fairly awesome. And also, I forgot, the Ruby Scarab, he actually increases Audacity by 2 because he has it. That's really helpful. Right, so actually, you know, we're just waiting for this guy to wake up at this point, so we should probably prepare for this. Okay, so we're going to get Professor to search where he is. He's going to roll a dice. He gets a 4, so that's an item. He found Draconian Wand. Every 6 roll deals 2 damage. That's fantastic. And he's the knowledge guy, so that's... he's really prepared. Okay, we move that over to yellow. It's now over to Bianca. She's going to roll. She got a 1. So we spawn 2 monsters because of this. Yikes. So we have an interesting mixture here. We have a siren. Is it forbidden? And a revolutionary poltergeist. So here are 2 monsters, the siren and the revolutionary poltergeist. So the revolutionary poltergeist, let's take a look at his stats there. So he's got a movement of 1. He's got 2 courage if you're going up against him. He's got a combat 3, no defense, 5 health, and 1 to evade him, and 3 shards for killing him. It fights for a war long since lost. Now everyone is its enemy. And then we have the siren, a mythical creature. So if on the same level, all adventurers with a mythos 3 or lower must spend all actions to move to this creature's room. No movement, because it draws people into it. Courage of 2, 3, damage, no defense, 5 health, 4 to evade it, and 3 for the shard value. So we're on to our man, Sully O'Sullivan, and he's going to try and take out, well, they're both pretty much the same here. So he's going to use his sledgehammer, which gives him 5 dice. He's got his strength of 4. So we've got another 4 dice we're rolling to this. We outnumber them by 1. So I'm going to roll my 5 dice for the sledgehammer, 1 dice for the outnumbering. Let's see what we got. So we've got an auto fail there. Got a 5. Oh, that was a 5. We have another 5. Auto fail. Got a critical hit there. And we have a 3 there. So his actual strength is 4. So we're going to roll another 4 dice. So another hit there. And another fail there. He's attacking the siren. So he's got to take 2 courage to begin with. 2 courage damage. We ignore... Oh wait, 4 succeed as well. I definitely got some 4s. So we have taken it out. Sorry, I forgot that the sledgehammer has succeeds on 4, 5, or 6. So we don't take any damage from her because we've got more combat than she has for her combat value there. She's got 5 hit points, so Sully just slams into her there. And yeah, she did. Professor Forrestal next. He's going to have a fun go at trying to kill this creature, and this time he's going to use his Draconian Wand. So every 6 rolled deals 2 damage. So he's got 4 for that. He's got 3 for his knowledge, and he does actually get an additional 2 dice because we outnumber that monster by 2. So let's see if we can use a Draconian Wand to send this revolutionary poltergeist back from whence he came. Okay, so got a fail there, a 2, which is a fail, a 2, a 3, which is a fail. We got a 5 and a 6 there. So we get to roll 2 more dice because we outnumber. We need to get at least 1 more success, or we're taking at least 1 damage. So we got a 5 there. So we don't take any damage from him. And we're doing 4 damage in total because we've got 1 damage there, 1 damage there. Criticals do 2 damage on this. Thanks to the Draconian Wand. So next up, we are going to get Bianca Sinclair to go, and she's going to use her .45 caliber 1911 pistol, which gets her 3 dice to begin with, an additional 4 dice for her dexterity. Okay, so we have a fail. We've got 2 hits there. A critical hit there. So we've killed it, and we're not going to take any more damage from this thing. An additional 2 dice for outnumbering. Yeah, so of course, sorry, she has to take courage damage. Everyone should have gained a courage from killing that last creature. And Forrestal should have taken courage damage from fighting the revolutionary poltergeist, as should Bianca Sinclair. But after killing it, they all get some of that back. Courage is hard to remember. You've got to do that, if I'm honest. Okay, so next is on to Iron O'Sullivan. So we'll get rid of all of these. And Iron O'Sullivan is going to hand over the Ruby Scarab over to Bianca Sinclair as an action. So during the upkeep phase, she is going to be getting an additional 2 Audacity, which is fantastic. And I think if I pass this around between everybody, then yeah, that will be really helpful. Okay, and I think we're going to get Professor Forrestal to explore. He's an explorer, so we're going to go up here, and we find the armory. Oh, so exploration here, so we get a search deck and take the first strength weapon. Not good for him, but we also get a adventure in here. So a serrated dagger. And the adventure we have today in the armory. You just couldn't resist tinkering with this device. It's an unknown mechanism, probably thousands of years old. When you activate it, it showers you with some sort of liquid. So we're doing a mythos check. We've got a 3-ton mythos here, plus an additional 1 due to our pith helmet. And yeah, we got 3 successes there, so we successfully do this. You suddenly feel fantastic. That sense of foreboding from being in the tomb dissipates and your eyes feel warm. You look in a nearby mirror and see that your eyes are glowing green. Plus 1 courage, and we get the lucky status effect, which pass all checks on a 4, 5, or 6. Okay, we're just going to get Mia to move into this room. And then we're going to have Iron O'Sullivan join them. So, tomb phase now. All cannot use strength weapons in this tomb phase. Well, we don't have to worry about it because there's nothing to fight. Move creatures, we don't spawn any creatures. The spawning works that basically some of these tiles have red around the outside, but there is none, so we're not spawning anything. Upkeep, okay, so I don't have to worry about anything from our good Professor Forrestal. I do have to check for our conditions for Bianca. So if we get we'll go for the mythos first. No. We're looking for a 6. Yep, so the stumped, we are no longer worried about stumped. So she has figured out the riddle of the Sphinx. Then we check our pistol. If we get a 1, then we discard. That's a 3. So we've still got a pistol, thankfully. And she also gains 2 Audacity on her upkeep phase because she does have the Ruby Scarab artifact. Everyone's search goes back, so everyone's definitely on green now. And the comet track goes forward, additional 1. And Bianca Sinclair is in charge. So just having a look at how many soul shards they've got. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13. They've all got 13 soul shards, which we have a little list of things you can buy from the Soulmonger. So yeah, gaining audacity sounds pretty good, but we can also get some, go back to starting health, we can bring adventure to starting courage. Yeah, interesting. I think we've got some interesting options we can go here. So let's go for it. Let's try and get the Soulmonger on this round. So everyone's actions are being reset, and we'll definitely get there this round because we don't have to worry about coming across any monsters or new rooms. So starting with Bianca, she has a movement of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've just realized as well, this tile here has only got 3 exits from there. So technically I shouldn't be able to move this way. So yeah, I'm gonna go the long way around because obviously, maybe let's say that maybe there was a secret door there. Let's say that, rather than having to do the entire video because I got that wrong. Okay, so Sully, 1, 2, 3. Professor Forrestal, he's a bit quicker, so he's got a 5 now. 2, 3, 4, 5. Bianca again, so she's going to. Well, do you know what? There's actually no way. We all had to come through the pitfall room. So I've kind of gone that way and I feel like, oh, they've realized they took a wrong turn. So yeah, they've got to all go through the trap, which is pretty good. Makes it a bit more exciting, right? Okay, so Bianca goes 1, 2, and then we have to do a trap test. So her dexterity is 4. She fails, she takes 3 damage and she moves to Mongol's Hall. But she's got 1 success, so we are fine. So that was at 1, 2, 3, 4. And she has got to the Soulmonger's room right at the top there. Okay, so it's up to Sully now. 1, 2. His dexterity is not the best. So hopefully he's not going to fall to his death here. So Sully takes a fall. So the very bottom of the tomb is the Mongol's Hall. So he falls down, he takes 3 damage, and he's separated from his friends there. So we got to try and find a rope token to get out of there. Now Bianca has rope, so maybe she can come back and give him a hand. Right, Professor Forrestal, will he be joining? His dexterity is only, well, it's 3 because he's got his fast draw revolver. And he's also joining his pal down there. So I was thinking about getting soul shards, but I think it's probably more important we're actually all together. So she's going to move back here. 1, 2, 3. And we do a quick check to see whether she falls. Nope, she's fine. Okay, we're going to get Sully to rest. So he's going to get 2 of his hit points back. We're going to get Professor Forrestal to rest to get 2 hit points. We're going to then get Bianca Sinclair, who has the pickaxe. So action, if you're in a rope room, you may move to another rope room, even if there is no rope token placed there. So she's going to, or actually no, she's going to use a grappling hook to place a rope token below. So they can actually climb out now, which is helpful. Iron O'Sully is going to give the Cowl of Anubis over to Professor Forrestal and swap it for the Pith Helmet. That way, Professor Forrestal will be able to get to Audacity this upkeep phase. And then we're going to heal Professor Forrestal. He's going to do a rest action. That's the end of our last, well, that was the 5th round, which was just moving about really, and then falling down a big kind of pit. So no place to hide. All cannot use Mythos weapons this tomb phase. That's fine. We don't have to worry about any creatures spawning. Upkeep phase. So let's check. So Professor Forrestal was lucky. We have to roll dice. If he gets a 1, we have to discard that lucky. Nope, he's still fine. Bianca is still hex, so we've got to roll to see if we get rid of that. We need a 6 for this. That's a 4, so that didn't do any good. Yeah, that is it for the moment. Obviously, Professor Forrestal, he gets his 2 audacity back. Okay, so the awakening of Raz Azul Ahamet, because we're on comic track 6. There's a great rumbling, a horrible gust of fetid air blows like a torrent through the tomb, which trembles as dust falls from every crack in the walls and ceiling. A tremendous voice echoes through the halls. I have lived for thousands of years, and I shall live for thousands more. Place Raz Azul Ahamet on the room 3 tile furthest from Mongol's Hall, but however, we don't have any, because we didn't do much exploring down here. So we literally have this, it's literally this one here. It is Mongol's Hall he's going to be appearing in. So, I'm dead. Raz Azul Ahamet, areas, 4 movement, 7 to face him, 13 damage, 3 defense, 33 hit points, 2 to evade, 17 shards if we kill him. We are screwed, my friends. There's no way we're taking out this guy. Like Professor Forrestal is going to take a ton of damage to begin with. Like all boss creatures, Raz Azul Ahamet can move between Mongol's Hall and Pharaoh's Hall as if they were adjacent. During the tomb phase, Raz moves his full movement towards the tomb's entrance rather than towards the nearest adventurer. However, if he shares a room with any adventurer at the start of the tomb phase, he instead stays in the room and combats one of those adventurers. In addition to their stated effects, the 3 potent talismans have the following effects. The Staff of Ra, Raz Azul combat's rating is reduced by -5. So he's currently on 8, which is great. The Ruby Scarab, Raz Azul cannot trigger his special abilities, so we don't have to worry about the Curse of the Tomb. And the Calavanabis, Raz Azul cannot perform his Courage attack. So actually, having those 3 talismans have greatly increased our chances here. And you know what? I'm just going to move this over this way a little bit, so we get our little Razzy chap on here. Razzaraz. So what that basically meant is we don't ignore the Courage. The strength of his combat is now 8, and we're gonna kick off with Iron Sullivan. He's like, I got this, guys. This is my chance. So he's going to be using his sledgehammer. He's also using his last adrenaline rush. So he's going to be getting an additional 5 combat on here. So to begin with, we're rolling 5 dice for the sledgehammer. We're rolling 5 dice for his adrenaline rush. We're rolling 4 dice for his strength, and I believe we also outnumber him. So we get an additional dice. So 15 dice. 4, 5s, and 6s count. So I have to keep a track because I don't have enough dice here. So I'm gonna have to keep a track somewhere of what I've done in case I do exceptionally well. So I'm just gonna roll it in groups of 5 here. So I got a 6, a 4, 2 3s, they don't count, and a 6. Ignore the 2, we got another 2 there. We got a 5, which is great. We got a 4, we got a failure. And then our last, so we only have 5 successes at the moment. And none of those were successes. So out of 15 dice, I only got 5 successes, which means 10 of those were pretty useless. Do I use an Audacity to re-roll all of those? Yeah. We're going for it. So 2 successes in our first one. Wish me luck, guys. We've got another 3 successes there. So now we're no worse off than we were before if we do fail here, because we had 5 successes previously. So we've got 2 more successes, which is good. So we have 7. 7 is our combat. We also don't take any damage because we've currently got the Pith Helmet equipped. So yeah, so basically we don't take any damage, but we deal 7 damage to our friend, the Blue-Eyed Pharaoh. So that was Sullivan's first go. Okay, so we're on to our pal, Professor Forrestal. We're going to get him to use the Lewis machine gun. So we've got 7 dice to begin with. We got +2 for our dexterity, +3 for our dexterity. So 10 dice we're rolling for this. Yeah, so hopefully this will this will work. Okay, so a 6 and a 6. 4s don't count, but we got an additional 3 hits there. And then 2 more dice to roll. That we ignore both of those. So we've got 5 damage in total. We've got an armor of 2, so our complete. So we're going to take 1 damage from that. So that was actually fine. Okay, these 3 unfortunately get soaked up by the armor, but those 2 go through. We've done 9 damage so far. We're going to get Bianca for her action to move down, which she can do with her pickaxe for an action. So back onto Iron Sullivan with his big sledgehammer. So we're rolling just 9 dice this time. Only 9 dice. Is that all? Is that all, Sully? And you know what? I'm just going to move the tomb away for a minute so we've got a bit more visibility on what I'm actually rolling here. Okay. So rolling 1 additional dice to this. I need 4 5s and 6s. So I only got 2 successes, 3 successes there. I'm going to use my Joseph Marks. We get a free reroll with Joseph Marks. We're going to reroll all those again because honestly I don't feel like that was a great roll. And let's see if we get any better. 5 and a 5 and a 6. 2 failures. 3, a 3 and a 3 there. So we're rolling 1 more dice. And another failure there. So this time we're going to be taking 4 damage from him. Clearly annoyed him here. We ignore all armor, so we've got an additional 3 damage on him. Right, on to Professor Forrestal. Okay, at this point we're going to use our Draconian 1. We're going to give this a go, guys. And we're going to use our Audacity, so 4s, 5s, and 6s are now counted as, successes. We're going to be rolling 7 dice in total for this. That's all we've got, unfortunately. Come on, Forrestal, you got this, buddy. So we've got 2 successes there, 3 successes, 4 successes. Only 4 successes. So he's going to be taking 2 damage if we reduce that by 1. So he's going to be taking 1 damage from that, but only doing 1 damage. We'll just have to do that. So we take a damage and Raz takes a damage. Not the best, but hey, we are where we are. So on to Bianca Sinclair. She is down here. She has got her Winchester rifle. She might get to do 2 attacks on this. So we've got 8 dice in total. Oh, we should have rolled an additional dice because we are actually outnumbering by 2. So we should have rolled an additional 2 dice, I believe, for Professor Forrestal. So I'm just going to roll these quickly now. So he still would have taken 1 damage, but this would have done 2 damage to our pal over here. So we're going to take that. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to take that when I can because it's going to be tough to kill this guy. So rolling 2 dice additionally for every time we outnumber him as well. So apologies for this, guys. I am rusty at this game. So yeah, I am making some mistakes here and there. But I'm having fun. That's the main thing. So I've got 10 dice to roll for this. I've got 4 for my dexterity, 4 for the Winchester rifle, and then 2 for outnumbering the boss. Okay, so a terrible roll. We got 1 crit there. And a hit. And she has 0 defense here. So I'm probably going to be re-rolling this, guys. Yeah, I'm going to just re-roll it straight away using my Audacity. Okay, so we get 2 successes, another success there. So 3 successes. We're taking 5 damage. We unfortunately are doing 0 damage to this because it does not ignore armor. Yikes. Onto Sledgehammer Sully with his 10 attack. Always ignores armor. So we got a 4, 5, and a 5. So we've got some successes there. So that was a 5. Oh, it's not a 4. So we got a 4 and a 5. So we're actually rolling 12 dice, sorry. So I rolled 5. There was 6 here. Success, 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 and then another 2. Success, success. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We don't take any damage, and we do 7 damage to it. So 22 damage. We've got 11 damage left to deal to this guy before we've killed Raz Azul Ahamet. Okay, and we're going to finish. We're going to use this last. We're going to use our last Lewis machine gun here. So we're using it twice in a round, so we're going to have to discard this card. But we're using 7 dice plus an additional 2 dice. That's 9 dice, 10, 11 dice in total for this. And we're going to use our last audacity with Professor Forrestal to make 4s count as a success here. So 11 dice. Here are 8 of them. And that was a pretty fantastic roll. So it's 8, 9, 10, 11. So 8 of those went through. 3 of those are soaked up, so we do 5 damage to them. And obviously we don't take any damage from that at all. So we're now on to Bianca. She's using her penultimate action to use a Winchester rifle, hopefully taking out him in the same go. So we've got 8 dice, 10 dice in total to roll because we outnumber him by 2. She's going to use an audacity to make 4s count as a success. Okay, which was a fantastic roll because each one of those hits, which means we're going to have a 3 additional combat against the same creature. Roll 2 more dice. Oh, no, that is not. Sorry. So we've got 7 went through. These do look like 4s. 7 went through. 9 went through, which means we beat his score, his combat value, which means we got a free attack against him. 3 of those are soaked up. I said 9, didn't I? So 6 of those go through. Unless my maths has failed me there. That is 33 hit points, which means we get 17 shards as we destroy Raz Azul Ahamet. Through the mystical synergy of the potent talismans, the Eternal Order of Perseus has set their full force upon the weakened Great Pharaoh. Despite his enormous power, the mighty Raz Azul Ahamet is now little more than an angry old man in ragged clothing. Not leaving anything to chance, you send round after round of white hot steel through the Pharaoh with the blue eyes until he finally falls to one knee. With his remaining strength, he lifts his head one last time to gaze at his assailants until the glow of his unearthly eyes fades into darkness. At first, there is nothing but an eerie stillness filling the tomb. Then the Pharaoh's corpse flashes a brilliant blue, forcing all of you to shield your eyes. A tremendous sound ripples through your souls as the island quakes, and Raz Azul Ahamet begins to dematerialize. When the light fades, all that's left of the former king of Egypt is a pile of ash and, at its center, a green gem sparkling still with the essence of Raz Azul Ahamet. A priceless artifact for sure, but why take any risks? You load one more round into your gun's chamber and reduce the glittering gem to shrapnel. The team exit the tomb and boards the plane, knowing that once again, the world is at peace. But for how long? So that was a game of Secrets of the Lost Tomb. Now, I'm sorry if that was frustrating for you, because a few times I went out of order with things. I remembered, oh, actually I get this bonus, so I'll roll another couple of dice. Oh, you know, I forgot to do the tomb phase card. I'll bring that out here. I know it's pretty frustrating when you're watching a video and the person doing it doesn't have the best grasp of the rules. So apologies for that. But hopefully you enjoyed this, or you saw enough of this game to know whether this is the kind of game that you've been looking for or would like to get. Now, this version of the game, I don't know if you can still get that. But like I say, there is a version of this coming on GameFound fairly soon, or if not already, depending on when they're dropping it and when this video drops. Yeah, it's well worth checking out because, yeah, if you like the looks of this, then that's probably something you might want to invest in. Yeah, so that's it from me. If you'd like to see, like I said at the very beginning, if you'd like to see more of these Secrets of the Lost Tomb videos, maybe I'll bring some people along to play it with me, then leave comments below. And yeah, we'll see about doing that at some point. I've been the ever excitable Adam. Until next time, guys, stay safe or die rolling.